When I think of endurance as a Green Beret, I don't think of a 5K or a tempo run or even a marathon. I think of missions. While in Afghanistan, a typical raid might mean getting dropped off a few kilometers from the target in the middle of the night, under 80 to 100 pounds of gear, so kit, ammo, water, radios, everything. Then you move low and slow toward the objective and spend hours on target underneath that same weight, then push to another helicopter landing zone to be picked up. Even a short raid might last 6 to 8 hours. So it's not a sprint. It's sustained movement under load with no safety net and zero room to quit. And to me, that is what real endurance looks like. And if you want to build that kind of engine, the kind that makes you confident you can ruck, run, or move for hours, it's not just about stacking miles. It's about training smart. I'm John Hamilton. I'm a strength and conditioning coach and former Green Beret, and I've trained hundreds of guys to build the endurance and durability they need to go crush selection and perform when it actually matters. And today, I'll break down exactly how to build endurance like an operator. And the biggest difference between guys who last and guys who fall apart is their aerobic base. Most people just go too hard, too often, and end up living in that gray zone. So not easy enough to actually build their aerobic system, but not hard enough to develop real speed. Zone 2 is where the foundation is built. It's what lets you keep moving for hours without blowing up. Here's why. Your body has two main energy tanks, about 2,000 calories of glycogen stored in your muscles and liver, and over 100,000 calories stored in body fat, even for a lean 180-pound athletic build. When you train in zone 2, your body learns to tap into that fat more efficiently for energy. That means you can sustain longer efforts without burning through your limited glycogen reserves. If you stay above that zone 2 too often, you're burning glycogen fast, and once that tank is empty, you start hitting a wall. That's why so many guys crash halfway through their long rucks and runs. They have a very overdeveloped anaerobic system and an underdeveloped aerobic system. And the only way to fix it is by spending more time in zone 2. And you don't need to overcomplicate finding your zone 2 range. To keep it simple, we have two options for this. Option number one is if you can talk in full sentences and breathe through your nose while you're moving, you're probably in zone 2. If you're sucking wind, you're probably not. Option number two is use heart rate. A simple estimate is 180 minus your age as your upper limit. It isn't perfect, but it will ensure that you're keeping it easy enough to make it primarily aerobic. But the real key with zone 2 is consistency. So start with 2 to 3 zone 2 sessions a week, building up to 45 to 90 minutes, and don't worry about your pace with these. Just keep it easy and keep it in the right heart rate zone. Now, a big engine on a weak frame obviously will not last long in this environment. So strength is what lets you lift, carry, and keep moving the weight without breaking down. And just like with endurance, the key isn't just doing more, it's doing the right work. This is not just about getting jacked. In fact, mass is very expensive calorically. It costs oxygen, calories, and energy. You want to be strong for your size so your body can handle hours of load without leaking energy. I want you to think of your legs, posterior chain, and core as your stabilizers. Every step with a ruck or pack is a rep under tension. And if your ability to stabilize is not built up, your posture breaks down, your gait falls apart, and you burn way more energy than you need to. That's why we use movements that build real world strength. Things like trap bar deadlift to develop the force through the hips and legs, Zercher squats to mimic the posture and bracing you need under load, split squats to step up and build single leg strength and control, and carries to teach your body to stay tight and efficient over time. And you do not need to do this every single day. 2 to 3 full body sessions per week is plenty, and you do not have to have marathon gym sessions. You need crisp, controlled lifts that build capacity and resilience. And this is important. The goal isn't to just chase fatigue or a pump in the gym. It's to get stronger so your body can support your endurance, not compete with it. Strength is what keeps you upright and efficient at mile 10, not just at rep 5. Next is rucking, and this is where a lot of guys screw it up. They treat every ruck like a race or test day. You don't need to go max effort every time you throw a pack on your back. And in fact, most of your rucks should be controlled low intensity work and walking only. Walking rucks build the same aerobic conditioning with a fraction of the recovery cost. That means you can stack more total volume without blowing yourself up. And rucking is a skill. It is not just a workout. Your body needs time to adapt to the load, the impact, and the repetitive movement. If you go too hard, too often, you'll get hurt long before you ever get better. During the Special Forces qualification course, you spend a ridiculous amount of time under a ruck. And by the end, especially after that dreaded Robin Sage infill, something shifts. The weight doesn't magically get lighter, but your body and your mind know what to expect every time you put a pack on your back. You build a confidence through exposure. And that kind of endurance doesn't just come from gut check hero sessions and crushing yourself every time you put it on. It comes from smart, steady progression and lots of time under a pack. Here's the simple formula that actually works. Start light and build distance first, then add weight gradually. Never progress both at the same time. Keep most of your rucks at an easy, sustainable pace, then save the hard efforts for key days or a final peak phase if you're going to selection, not every time you put a pack on. This approach builds capacity without trashing recovery, and it's how you make rucking second nature, not a constant battle. Now, the biggest mistake I see is guys ramping up their mileage too fast. They jump from a few miles a week to double or triple that overnight and end up fighting injuries instead of building capacity. It's not that they can't push hard, it's that their joints, tendons, and connective tissue just aren't ready for that kind of jump. Endurance is not built in a few weeks. It's earned through steady, consistent work stacked over time. A good rule of thumb is to increase your total weekly mileage by no more than 10 to 15%. That gives your body time to adapt without overloading it. And if something starts to feel sketchy, you can back off and keep it sub-tolerance. The guys who win at endurance aren't the ones who do the most in a single workout. They're the ones who stay healthy long enough to actually build capacity. If you want to learn exactly how to train this way step by step, grab the free training methodology guide down below. It'll give you a clear picture on how to build the endurance and the strength for selection. And if you're ready to stop guessing and want a program built specifically around your timeline and goals, hit the link and let's see if our program is a good fit for you. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one.